with allies in France, saying members of the G7 respect the trade war, but signaling some regrets.
I have second thoughts about everything.
The biggest issues on the summit table as the world watches to see if the president will play ball with America's allies or go his own way.
Injured by lightning. Look at this. A bolt strikes this tree during a PGA tournament, injuring several people.
They hit that tree.
The rush to treat the injured and what witnesses are telling us this morning.
Breaking this morning, Hong Kong protests. Thousands of pro-democracy demonstrators armed with bricks and Molotov cocktails clashed with police in one of their most intense battles yet.
Out of this world battle, a divorce and custody fight stretching into space. The astronaut accused of accessing her wife's bank accounts from the International Space Station, what both sides are saying this morning.
And behind the scenes are exclusives at the D23 Expo, the big Disney convention.
I went, "Oh!"
The reveals from Star Wars actors, plus the latest from the Marvel Universe.
You are the first deaf Marvel character.
The past is not what it seems.
And Frozen.
Will Olaf find love?
Ginger gets the answers from Anaheim.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Whit and Rob are off this morning. Sam Champion will be here soon. He's actually just at the end of the desk there. And we're also happy to have Terrell Brown from our Chicago station with us this morning. Thank you so much for coming.
Good to be back with you guys this morning, and a lot going on this morning.
Yes, you are here, my friend, on a very busy news morning. President Trump is on the world stage right now. He's meeting with global leaders this morning over at the G7 summit in France. A lot of thorny issues on the table here, including climate change, Russia, and the president's escalating trade war with China, which has been rattling the global economy.
Then just hours ago, President Trump hinted he may be having second thoughts about the trade war. George Stephanopoulos is here with analysis, but first we start with ABC's chief White House correspondent, John Karl. He's traveling with the president in France. John, good morning.
Good morning, Terrell. As the president begins his meetings with America's most important economic leaders here in France, he seems to be backing away from his threats of an all-out economic war with China.
President Trump's trade war with China has clearly rattled the markets and America's allies. But at a meeting this morning with the new British Prime Minister, the president downplayed the tensions.
I think they respect the trade war.
This morning, the president said he is hopeful of reaching a trade deal with China and was asked directly if he had any second thoughts about the way things have played out.
I have second thoughts about everything.
Before arriving at the French resort town of Biarritz, the president threatened to impose new tariffs, sending markets into a tailspin. He also issued an unusual order for American companies to stop dealing with China, saying he could do so by declaring a national emergency. But for now, he says that is off the table.
I could declare a national emergency. I think when they steal and take out and intellectual property theft, anywhere from $300 billion to $500 billion a year, and when we have a total loss of almost $1 trillion a year, for many years this has been going on. In many ways, it's an emergency. I have no plan right now.
And at a meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, the president was asked about the latest rounds of weapon tests by North Korea.
I'm not happy about it, but again, he's not in violation of an agreement. We speak. I received a very nice letter from him last week.
The president insists that the summit here is going great and that talk of tensions between him and the other leaders is flat wrong. But on virtually every major issue on the agenda, from Iran to climate change to trade, the president is in disagreement with the other leaders here. In fact, President Macron, the host of this summit here in France, said before it started that there would not be a joint statement coming out of the summit, something you regularly see at G-Summit meetings, because it would be pointless given the obvious disagreements with the President of the United States. Eva?
Well, and John, the president has suggested that Russia be invited back into the G7, making it the G8 again.
Yeah, he just actually spoke about that a short while ago. He said that he brought this up with the other leaders at the dinner they had, the opening dinner last night. Said it's still something he would like to see happen. But let me tell you, there is nobody else here at this summit that thinks that that is the right thing to do. That does not look like something that is going to happen.
John Carl on the ground in France. John, thank you very much. As promised, let's bring in our chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, who will be hosting this week later this morning. George, good morning. Let's talk about this trade war. Is the president right to be having second thoughts here? What are the risks politically and economically?
Well, what you saw, the risks were on Friday when the president escalated the trade war, announced new tariffs, said that he was going to order U.S. companies not to do business with China. What do we see? A more than 600-point drop in the Dow. There's a bit of a pattern here. Well, the president talks tough on China whenever it appears that it's going to start to bite at home, whether it's on American consumers or at the stock market. He tends to pull back a little bit, and I think that's a little bit of what you see happening here, but there's no way to know for sure. If you look at the last week with the president, he had a series of zigs and zags on so many different issues, whether it was buying Greenland or background checks for gun control or tax cuts for the middle class, a payroll tax cut. He seemed to go back and forth every single day without even consulting his staffs. Where this will be tomorrow, I don't know.
So what about this 1977 law that he says really gives him the authority to tell American businesses you got to pull out of China? Is that for real?
It is a law. It's a 1977 law about economic emergencies. Most experts say that it would be an abuse of the law to use it in this case. It's designed to take on American enemies, let's say an adversary like Iran or North Korea when they're building their nuclear programs. It gives the president the power to impose sanctions and to restrict companies' activities. For the president to do that here would be an extraordinary move with huge economic impact, likely to be overturned by Congress. So I don't think you're going to see it happening.
All right, George Stephanopoulos, always appreciate your analysis on a Sunday morning. I want to remind everybody, George has a big show this morning. He's going to have on the show the former Congressman Joe Walsh, the latest Republican to consider a primary challenge to the president. Plus, the Powerhouse Roundtable debates the week in Trump and the latest in the 2020 race among the Democrats. It's all coming up on This Week right here on ABC. George, thank you very much.
I want to get to those scary moments at the PGA Tour Championship in Atlanta. Lightning struck a tree. Several people were hurt by falling debris. Sam Champion is here with more on that. Sam, this is really scary.
Yeah, there's a couple of important things to note here. There were warnings on the storms that were nearby in the area. People were in the process of getting out of the way of that storm. But when that lightning hit, people close by said it sounded like a bomb went off.
Lightning rocketing from the sky during the third round of a professional golf tournament.
People were struck by lightning. I know that they're alert, conscious of breathing.
2 bolts striking a tree after play was suspended due to storms. Debris injuring 6 people, some taken away on a stretcher.
Keep them warm and breathing.
Overnight, we spoke to Billy Kramer, who was hurt during the mayhem.
There were screams. It seemed like everybody else saw the tree was falling, and I was just going based off of that and trying to run away from it as quickly as possible.
Watch as the lightning strikes in this video at the tournament captured by NBC cameras covering the golf championship. Robert Bruckner was at the tournament and recorded video of the frightening incident on his cell phone.
Saw about 4 or 5 people being thrown from the power of the lightning onto the ground.
I've got a good heart rate here.
Parts of this massive pine tree splintering and striking golf fans as they were taking shelter.
They hit that tree.
I realized how crazy close we all were to something really catastrophic, but we're all lucky.
It is what all of us who forecast fear most about summer storms, and that is the fact that people are out more during these storms in the summertime trying to enjoy summer-like activities. So people always ask me, when do we get out of the way of a storm? And what I like to say is immediately, if you see it, go indoors. But if you're close enough to hear the thunder, you're close enough to get struck by lightning. It actually wasn't raining right there at the time. The rain was a little bit to the east and also to the south of where that storm was, and that's why a lot of people were caught by surprise. Tropics were about 2 weeks away from the big peak of the season. This is an area now that is Tropical Storm Dorian, so just mark it from Barbados there and say it's about 550 miles east of Barbados. As we watch this move, by day 3 or day 4, it enters a little area of shear, but still has the potential of being a Cat 1 storm affecting Puerto Rico. Remember, Maria was just 2 years ago. We haven't completely gotten rid of all of those issues yet. Now, watch all of this kind of pull away from the coast of Florida. This is fairly good news in the fact that it doesn't really get near to the coastline, but it could be some rain and some rough surf along the area, and there's a plane flying in to look at it later today. Eva?
All right, thank you, Sam. Well, in Los Angeles, a sheriff's deputy now faces a criminal investigation accused of faking a report that he was shot by a sniper in a station parking lot. The call for help on Wednesday led to parts of Lancaster's community being put on lockdown. The deputy claiming holes in his shirt came from bullets stopped by his protective vest. Well, investigators found no bullets, no injuries, and officials now say the deputy has admitted to making it all up, but they don't know why, and he will be relieved of duty.
Breaking news this morning out of Hong Kong. Despite a police ban, massive protests have broken out, and we are seeing what may be the most violent clashes yet. ABC's Ian Pannell is right there. Ian, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Incredible scenes here in Hong Kong. We had a 10-day hiatus of peace. That was broken on Saturday partially, but today has been the most sustained clashes so far. You can see the riot police are here, but you can see they're also over on the other side of the road. And if we swing round just past a bus stop, you can see there are more and more riot police there, more riot police vehicles as well. So for a while, what we saw was sustained pitched battles. So you had protesters throwing lumps of rock. They basically gouged the bricks out of the pavement, out of the sidewalk. They were throwing them at the police. They were also throwing Molotov cocktails. In return, the police fired the most sustained volley of tear gas that I've seen throughout this. The air was thick with the smoke. It stings your eyes. It burns your skin. But the protesters stood their ground. This really was almost a war-like scenario on the streets there. Difficult conditions for the police, but the protesters are insistent that unless their 5 key demands are met, they will continue to do this. And just a reminder why they're here. They say they're campaigning for freedom and democracy. They want a fair say in those who govern them, and so far they haven't. This still isn't over here. We can hear the police. We hear the police shouting and charging down the road. This is a fluid situation and a sign, I think, of things to come. Dan?
Fluid, tense, ominous. Ian Pannell on the ground there. Stakes so high for the future of this city and for the relationship between the United States and China. Ian, thank you very much, and stay safe. Terrell, over to you.
An American supertanker is in Bolivia right now, Dan, to help those massive fires that are burning in the Amazon. Brazil is now using its own military planes to drop water on those flames. ABC's Matt Gutman is in Brazil. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Terrell. It sounds like an impressive deployment. It also includes 44,000 troops, but they will be sent to an area about 2/3 the size of the continental United States. We don't have a lot of details about when all of them will be deployed. Yesterday, we got a sense of the scale and remoteness of some of these fires.
In the face of mounting criticism and walls of flame, Brazil has begun what it called an unprecedented deployment of troops to the fire lines. On Saturday, Brazilian Air Force C-130 tankers began pounding fires in the north of the country, each one of those streams of water over 3,000 gallons. But there are nearly 80,000 fires burning in the region, and Brazil is also battling accusations it's been slow to respond to fires burning across an area that would span from Detroit to Los Angeles. And joining the international operation is the world's largest firefighting airplane based in Colorado Springs. It has arrived in Bolivia to help and try to contain the fires.
These countries aren't used to fires like this. I would say that this is catastrophic at a level that they've never seen or experienced.
Dan Reese and his team of 14 are using the 747 plane, which is capable of dumping about 19,000 gallons per drop to assist.
So there's a bit of a learning curve all the way around. Both for us, being down here out of our typical environment, and the challenge and the education process for firefighters that have not seen this tool.
On Saturday, we saw the scale of these fires on the Bolivia-Brazil border for ourselves.
You can see these fires. They're stretching pretty much across the entire horizon here. The smoke is rising thousands of feet in the air. It is fueled right now by wind, and everywhere you look, not a single firefighter.
Those fires so difficult to reach.
Going through this underbrush gives you a sense of why these fires are so hard to stop, because they're so very hard to get to.
We tried to get closer. We found that jungle nearly impenetrable.
And our experience in the jungle yesterday gives you a sense of why the air assault with planes is so important in these fires. But still, there are tens of thousands of these fires, and the experts here tell us that it's likely only Mother Nature will be able to put them down. But rainy season here is still months away. Terrell. Terrell.
And what some are now calling a global crisis. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, Prince Andrew is now talking about his relationship with accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The Duke of York said he regrets not cutting ties with the millionaire financier when he was convicted of sex crimes a decade ago. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more. Good morning to you, Stephanie.
Eva, good morning. Buckingham Palace has now released 2 statements about Prince Andrew and his association with accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. In this latest statement, Prince Andrew says he regrets not seeing Epstein for who he really was. Buckingham Palace in damage control, releasing a new and lengthy statement by Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, about the friendship between the prince and accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The statement reiterating that the prince never witnessed any of the behavior Epstein was accused and convicted of. I met Mr. Epstein in 1999. During the time I knew him, I saw him infrequently and probably no more than only once or twice a year. I have stayed in a number of his residences. At no stage during the limited time I spent with him did I see, witness, or suspect any behavior of the sort that subsequently led to his arrest and conviction. The prince also making a statement last week after this video published by the Mail on Sunday reportedly showed the prince inside Epstein's home in 2010. At that point, Epstein had already served jail time and had registered as a sex offender in both Florida and New York. In this latest statement, the Duke calls his association with Epstein a mistake and an error. The prince was reportedly introduced to Epstein through Epstein's longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who has been accused of recruiting underage girls like Virginia Giuffre to perform sexual acts for him and other men. Maxwell has never been charged and denies any wrongdoing. According to deposition testimony from unsealed documents, Giuffre says she was directed to have sex with Prince Andrew and several powerful men, which the prince and these other men all deny. The prince says in that statement, Epstein's suicide has left many unanswered questions and that he acknowledges and sympathizes with everyone who has been affected and wants some form of closure.
Really tough story. Thank you very much, Stephanie Ramos. On a very different note, we're going to tell you about a big surprise in the world of sports this morning. Andrew Luck, the star quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, he is retiring. Luck dropped this bombshell at a post-game news conference after the Colts lost to the Bears 27-17. Luck was once the Colts' hope to succeed the legendary Peyton Manning, but after nagging injuries to his shoulder and now his leg, Luck says 4 years of pain is enough. He now says he needs to figure out how to feel better here.
Big loss for the team.
Yeah.
Let's talk weather this morning. Sam's in for Rob. What's going on?
Well, we've got some storms in the heartland to talk about and also in the plains. I want to show you some pictures of some video coming out of Arkansas. And this is a lot of flooding that was going in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And one of the reasons I want to bring this up is we actually lost a life. We have fatality in that. A 47-year-old woman was killed when her car was washed off the street. I want to add to the conversation about this and just tell you, in my experience in flooding, even when you live in an area that you know very well, when you see that water, many times the road isn't even under that water. And the water is moving so fast that it will carry your car immediately. So please don't drive through flooded areas. We've had a lot of these storms that have been moving through Kansas. We'll watch that continue during the morning. We have some flood alerts for that. An awful lot of lightning will fire up as this system starts to drive a little bit east. If you're timing this out, I just want you to think about it moving for several days over. And then by the time we get to Monday's drive time home, that line is probably moving through Chicago. That's the weather around the nation. Here's what you can expect this morning.
Hello and good morning, Washington. Meteorologist Alex Liggett here. A beautiful Sunday ahead of us. Mostly sunny skies, 80 degrees the forecast high, low humidity. Yeah, that's the key here. Late August, beautiful. Zach Brown Band, Jiffy Lube live this evening at 7 o'clock. Temperatures into the 70s, very comfortable under partly cloudy skies. Enjoy it if you're heading out there. 78 degrees to start the work week. Back up in the lower 80s on Tuesday. Better chance for rain on Tuesday. Chance for a couple of storms. Highs in the mid 80s by Wednesday.
So the summertime cool down is going on. When we come back, we're going to talk about that and when it ends.
Ooh.
Wait, no?
Yeah.
You mean the summer or the cool down?
No. Well, both of them end. When the cool down ends and when the summer ends.
I'm not ready for winter yet.
I'm not looking forward to it at all.
More sun.
Yeah. A question this morning. What do you do when you meet a celebrity? Like, I freak out every time Sam's here. What do you do? For example, there was this kid who went to the mall and he met one of his favorite celebrities, a rapper. Do you go for a selfie or do you go really big? Diane Macedo is here with the story of a very presumptuous young man.
Yes, this Temple University student had something a bit bigger than a selfie in mind. 20-year-old Raheel Ahmad saw Lil Uzi Vert at a Philadelphia mall and outright asked the rapper to pay for his college tuition. And the rapper said yes, with a few conditions. Listen.
Make sure you show me all of your transcripts, everything. Show me all of your papers and everything, and you can get 90,000 from me.
You know, life can change in seconds. It's all a matter of just like mental toughness and focus. You gotta just be confident in what you want to do. And I'm blessed.
So we reached out to Lil Uzi Vert, no response so far, but this isn't the first time stars have helped fans with college bills. Last week, Taylor Nation gave a Swift fan nearly